I'm okay with the dark, but I've spent more than my share of time in caves already. What did you need?
I like what Eastron has done with the place. It's good to see someone else who's really prepared. Back already? Can't wait. Let's see. Ooh, this diagram explains how to fashion a bolt that will send a jolt of shock through whatever it hits. Testing this will require some extra precautions, I think. Here, let me show you how it's made. Assuming you have the smithing skills, you should be able to make this yourself at Gunmar's Forge. Either way, I'll have some for sale soon. I'm starting to think you like this as much as I do. Here's the location of the next set of dormer diagrams. Thanks. Farewell.
Not that either.
Arkay's been watching over me for years now. He says he's not too sure about you yet, though. Well done. I said you'd return victorious. Arkay wasn't so sure. Wield it bravely. Speak with Gunmar. He has something for you. Arkay bless you, friend.
I knew it would come to this one day.
Cozy little place, isn't this?
No one believed.
I've learned of a possible monster, and while I do not know its exact whereabouts, I do have information suggesting someone who does. Pay a visit to the beast's last known contact. Do what you must to find where it's hiding now. Then root out the monster and destroy it. Good luck. I'm not sure. This is fine for now, but we can't stay holed up here forever.
I suppose we're all a little crazy.
For those who cherish memories of loved ones, their compassion often conceals the beast. Our compassion compels us to destroy it. Speak with Florentius. He has something for you. Good luck. Our sense of what's right is what separates us from the vampire.
I once killed 30 vampires with my bare hands, you know. Ask Arkay, he'll tell you. I've been poring over some of the tomes left here in the keep. Interesting stories indeed. Seems the previous incarnation of the Dawnguard had, at one time, some interesting toys. Arkay and I think it could be a great advantage for us. You should look into retrieving it. A magical shield that, when blocked with, surrounds its wielder with a holy aura that harms the undead. Might come in handy. What's that, Lord? Well, should I tell him? Arkay says you'll be facing warlocks. Nothing you can't handle. Go with the light.
Yes? What did you need?
May your next fight bring you victory, friend.
What did you need?
Take it back.
should have come. That'll teach you. Thought I heard something.
Time to end this little game.
What was that?
What was that?
Huh? Thought I heard something. Death is...
Looks like we got ourselves. Right behind you. Yes? What did you need?
Never should have come here. I like what Isran has done with the place. It's good to see someone else who's really prepared. You never disappoint. What have you got there? Is it really? It is! I was hoping we'd find this. It's a diagram for a Dwemer crossbow. Much more sophisticated and powerful than the ones we use. Here, let me show you how this works. I'll have some for sale soon. Alright! One more set of Dwemer plans to go. I think I'll be sad when we're done collecting these. Who knows, though? Maybe more plans will turn up in the future. But I can't wait to see these drawings. Go on, get out of here! Until next time.
Cozy little place, isn't this? Fight bravely, friend.
Arkay's been watching over me for years now. He says he's not too sure about you yet, though. Well done. I said you'd return victorious. Arkay wasn't so sure. Wield it bravely. Arkay has some grave news, friend. Your friend, kidnapped. A vicious Night Stalker rules over a group of bandits. Seeks to gain leverage over the righteous. Arkay is so hard to understand when it comes to life and death. Is he still alive? There's always hope.
Is someone there?
Oh no, thought I heard something.
Bad time to get over here.
Who's there? I knew it.
Die.
Done and done. Where'd you come from?
gonna die in here. Thank you.
It's so bright out here. I don't know how you stand it.
Hope you're getting along with Isran. You never disappoint. What have you got there? Now this is a find. Plans for improving the Dwemer crossbow. This should add some extra punch to an already devastating weapon. Here, let me show you how it's made. Assuming you have the smithing skills, you should be able to make this yourself at Gunmar's forge. Either way, I'll have some for sale soon. Speak with Florentius. He has something for you. Until next time.
Arcade's been watching over me for years now. I know. Arcade told me of your success. Speak with Gunmar. He has something for you. Arcade bless you, friend.
Cozy little place. I've discovered the whereabouts of a vampire lair. Destroying the head vampire is usually sufficient to scatter its minions, though it's best to destroy every last one of them.
Well, that's certainly a line of thinking.
Good luck. This is fine for now, but we can't stay holed up here forever. Very good. Though I suspect there's more wherever he came from. We cannot afford to relax. Good luck.
I once killed 30 vampires with my bare hands, you know. Ask Arcade, he'll tell you. Speak with Isran. He has something for you. Farewell.
Be on your guard at all times. Avoid sleep if you can. Sleep is for the weak. The Jarl's in danger. A vampire plays as a visiting advisor to the court. Destroy it before it's able to complete its foul business. But be warned, the Jarl's guards are unaware of the threat and will treat violence against this advisor as a crime. Convince the Jarl of the threat and he'll let you destroy the creature. If not, then do your best not to get caught. Quickly now. The longer you delay, the more danger the Jarl is in. Keep your eyes open.
Yes? What did you need?
Just a servant of Skald the Elder. Not worthy of time or
You're
consideration.
not as dumb as you look. That's quite a bold claim. I'd need proof before I could possibly accept it. Hope to see you again soon.
There's no honor in being a Jarl's servant.
You saved us all. We will sing of you forever. Well, I trust you'll take care of this unwanted visitor. My guards will not interfere with you carrying out my justice. Don't bother me again unless it's important. Stop that! That's mine! By the god.
I knew it would come to this one day. I knew. And no one believed. Stay alert. Be on your guard at all times. Even with all my preparations, we can't be too careful. The monsters... I still don't trust it. So keep it on a leash. Stay alert.
Arkay's been watching over me for years. Speak with Gunmar. He has something for you. We'll speak again soon.
Yes? What did you need?
Need something?
Cozy little place, isn't this? I've located the whereabouts of a vampire masquerading as a common citizen. Track him down and dispose of him. Tread lightly. The law is unaware of the danger and will treat you as a criminal if you are caught. The light be with you.
I once killed 30 vampires with my bare hands, you know? I've been poring over some of the tomes left here in the keep. Interesting stories indeed. Seems the previous incarnation of the Dawnguard had, at one time, some interesting toys. Arkay and I think it could be a great advantage for us. You should look into retrieving it. An axe imbued with magic, fueled by the destruction of the unholy. With every victorious blow against an undead creature, its power grows. Arkay warns its baneful charge abates with each dawn. Something to keep in mind, I suppose. What's that, Lord? Well, should I tell him? Arkay says you'll be facing warlocks. Nothing you can't handle. Go with the light.
What did you need? Show yourself! Where'd you come from?
Arkay's been watching over me for years now. He says he's not too sure about you yet, though. Well done. I said you'd return victorious. Arkay wasn't so sure. Wield it bravely. We'll speak again soon.
Yes? What did you need?
Oh, hey there.
What did you need?
How can I help a brother know?
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. I've got a letter and a lot of gold. Something about it being your, inheritance. Oh, and sorry for your loss. Looks like that's it. Got to go.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
Right behind you. Before my father became obsessed with a prophecy, my mother and I spent quite a bit of time together. She was very fond of our alchemical garden in the castle courtyard. She taught me quite a bit about cultivating quality regions.
Since my customers
Like
are
the
mostly
best of
local, I
friends.
just knock on their front
I would
door.
never hesitate to share anything with her. It was very sudden. It was almost like one day we were a normal family, and then the next, I didn't know who they were. I'd try to visit my mother in the garden, and she'd quickly shoo me away, saying she was much too busy. She had to be up to something in that garden. I'm hoping it's a clue that will tell us where she went. There's not a whole lot to tell. You've already seen my father's obsession. My mother's not a whole lot better, but you'll see that soon enough. My father... No, not really. I did spend a lot of time with my mother, but she saw me more like a protege than a daughter. What about you? What were your parents like? I know how that feels. I mean, I know it isn't the same thing, but I was a pretty lonely child myself. Not as much. Let's just keep going. Right behind you. I'm ready if you are. Yes? Oh. What did you need? Yes? Are we ready then? Yeah, just around this bend. Doesn't look so big from down here. I mean, it is big, but, well, even bigger. Yes? An old jetty where boats would bring supplies to the castle. Once we moved in, it never got used, along with the rest of the Undercroft. We'll need to watch our steps inside. Lead on. The old water cistern. On some days, this would smell just... Be glad you weren't here then. I knew I heard something. Mine's playing tricks on me. So far, this hasn't been too bad. I like to explore. My parents almost never let me off the island, so yeah, I poked around down here a lot. It was a little... quieter back then. Guess a little vampire girl was enough to scare off the rats. It was. But I got used to it. Well, growing up the way I did, you get used to it. A little bit. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come with you. But what about you? Yeah. Is it just you, or do you have people in your life? Does it bother you that I'm here? Me too. Anyway, this is all very touching, but don't we have some more important things to worry about right now? There you go. That'll teach you. We've made it to the courtyard. Oh no. What happened to this place? Everything's been torn down. The whole place looks, well, dead. It's like we're the first to set foot here in centuries. This used to lead into the castle's great hall. Looks like my father had it sealed up. I used to walk through here after evening meals. It was beautiful once. This was my mother's garden. Do you know how beautiful something can be when it's tended by a master for hundreds of years? She would have hated to see it like this. Wait. Something's wrong with the moon dial here. Some of the crests are missing and the dial is askew. I didn't even know the crests could be removed. Maybe my mother's trying to tell us something. I'm telling you, there's something strange with the moon dial. I'm telling you, there's something strange with the moon dial. If I had to guess, I'd say the moment Mother fled the castle, Father went on a rampage. Knowing him, anything at all that reminded him of her was just destroyed. It appears that way. I suppose he wanted to put the past behind him. Perhaps if he had spent more time with us, he would have recognized the beauty for himself. Well, as far as I'm aware, it's the only one in existence. The previous owners of the castle had a sundial in the courtyard, and obviously that didn't appeal to my mother. She persuaded an elven artisan to make some improvements. You can see the plates that show the phases of the moons, Maser and Secunda. And that's the thing. What's the point of a moon dial? I always wondered why she didn't just have the whole thing ripped out. But she loved it. I don't know. I guess it's like having a piece of art, if you're into that sort of thing. Hard to say. Maybe if we found the missing crests, we could figure it out. Look around for the missing crests. Even in this mess, they should stick out. Very clever, Mother. Very clever. I've never been in those tunnels before, but I'd bet they'd run right under the courtyard and into the tower ruins. Well, at least we're getting closer. Let's go. I've never even seen this part of the castle before. Be careful. I don't know what might be around. Right behind you. I'd always just assumed that the other tower was completely destroyed inside. My mother kept this a secret, even from me. She must have been up to something she thought was dangerous. I'm right behind you. close. I'm sure of it. Who's there? The top yet. I bet there's some kind of secret passage around here. Right behind you. Not that I ever saw. My mother had a bit of a thing for magical constructs. Not what you're thinking. She just found them fascinating. Let's go. Smarter than I gave her credit for. This has to be it. I knew she was deep into necromancy. I mean, she taught me everything I know. But I had no idea she had a setup like this. Look at all this. She must have spent years collecting these components. And what's this thing? I'm not sure about this circle, but it's obviously something. Let's take a look around. There has to be something here that tells us where she's gone. My mother was meticulous about her research. If we can find her notes, there might be some hints in there. I had no idea her laboratory even existed. She had an alchemy set up in her drawing room, but nothing that even comes close to what's here. Looking at the equipment and materials, it looks like she was trying to advance her necromancy. I don't know. Certainly not longevity. Kind of a waste of time for a vampire. I remember she used to keep a small journal. See if you can dig it up. Any luck yet? You did? Let me see them. I only know what she told me. She had a theory about soul gems, that the souls inside of them don't just vanish when they're used. They end up in the soul cairn. The soul cairn is home to very powerful beings. Necromancers send them souls and receive powers of their own in return. My mother spent a lot of time trying to contact them directly, to travel to the soul cairn itself. That circle in the center of the room is definitely some type of portal. If I'm reading this right, there's a formula here that should give us safe passage into the soul cairn. A handful of soul gem shards, some finely ground bone meal, a good bit of purified void salts. Ah, damn it. We're also going to need a sample of her blood, which, if we could get that, we wouldn't even be trying to do this in the first place. Not bad. We'd better hope that's good enough. Mistakes with these kind of portals can be gruesome. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get started. Oh, good. Well then, let's head over to the portal vessel and I'll do the rest. Then the rest is up to me. Are you ready to go? I'm not entirely sure what this thing is going to do when I add my blood. Of course. What is it? I've been asking myself the same thing since we came back to the castle. She was so sure of what we did to my father. I couldn't help but go along with her. I never thought of the cost. Possibly. I guess even a vampire mother is still a mother. She worried about me. About all of us. But she wanted to get me as far away from my father as possible before he really went over the edge. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I just didn't expect anyone to care how I felt about her. Thank you. Are we ready then? All right, here goes. Ancestors. Created a portal in the soul. Incredible. Incredible. Simply incredible. The Soul Cairn is a tiny sliver of oblivion, the realm of the Daedra. It's ruled by unseen beings known as the Ideal Masters. Honestly, I don't know. Necromancers are always interested in souls, though, so that probably has some kind of interest. Nobody really knows. As far as I've heard, no one's seen them and returned to Tamriel to tell about it. I've read stories. Stories about fools that manage to communicate with them. You give the Ideal Masters souls, they give you powers to summon the undead. It's all very businesslike. Because most of the stories end with the Ideal Masters duping the necromancers, who end up dead or wishing they were dead. I'm ready when you are. Are you all right? That looked painful. Now that I think about it, I should have expected that. Sorry. It's hard to describe. The Soul Cairn is, well, hungry, for lack of a better word. It's trying to take your life essence as payment. There might be, but I don't think you're going to like it. Vampires aren't counted among the living. I could probably go through there without a problem. Not your first choice, I guess? Maybe. We could just pay the toll another way. It wants a soul, so we give it a soul. Yours. My mother taught me a trick or two. I could partially soul trap you and offer that gem to the Ideal Masters. It might be enough to satisfy them. It would make you a bit weaker when we travel through the Soul Cairn, but we might be able to fix that once we're inside. Maybe. I'm sorry. I wish I knew a better way, something that would be easier for you. Just know that whatever path you choose, I won't think any less of you. Sometimes things just have to be done. I know that better than anybody. Have you made up your mind? Are you sure? I'm willing to turn you, but you need to think it through. You've become the very thing you've sworn to destroy. I don't know how the Dawnguard will react. Turning someone is a very personal thing for vampires. It's intimate. For us. I don't want you to feel like I'm forcing you into this. Let's not waste too much time then. I promise to try and make this as painless as possible. Hold still. Right behind you. All right then. Let's go. Your mother must be waiting on the other side of that thing. Ugh.
All I said to Patemo was I thought
Let's
she
try
looked
to
a
handle
little
this
portly in
quickly.
that gown. How was I supposed to know?
No one ever escapes. There is no escape. What day is it? What year? What era, even?
dragon Guinevere, destroyer of souls and harbinger of the fallen.
Where'd you come from?
Leave me be. You must help me find my Arvak. He doesn't deserve to be in a place like this. Arvak, my horse. We came to this horrible place together. We were attacked by monsters, so I told him to run. Please, he's such a loyal creature, and he's been running for so long. You have to save him. A place like this will change you. Arvak? Arvak! Where are you? Arvak, please come back! Come back!
All right.
I no longer hunger, grow weary, or feel anything but loneliness.
Well, look what we have here. Someone with flesh on their bones. Let's just say I sold something to a guy who turned out to work for a whole coven of necromancers. How in the name of Zenithar was I to know the ingredients were phony? Do I look like someone that would double-cross a necromancer? You got it. Horse, wagon, and all. Plopped here without so much as a word. I used to be one of the best traders in High Rock, you know. Now people would track me down just to see what I had for sale. Very funny. And what exactly are you going to pay me with? Take a look around. Gold doesn't exactly win you any friends around here. I'll tell you what. I appreciate what you're trying to do, so I'll play along. The only thing I see around here in abundance are soul husks. You know, those ugly fungus-looking things growing out of the ground. Bring me, say, 25 of them, and you can rummage through what was left on my cart. Odds and ends I've gathered over the years. Well, used to gather. Before all of this nonsense happened to me. Tell me what you're looking for, and maybe we can make a deal. If you have the husks. You've still got it, Morgan. A salesman even beyond.
I feel terrible for the dead who end up here. Seems awful, like they're still suffering. I feel terrible for the dead who end up here for eternity. Seems awful, like they're still suffering. No, but there's no way she would have left it in Tamriel. She wanted to get it as far away from my father as possible. I can't imagine a better place. Then we find out where she hid it, if she's still alive. Well, as alive as she was before. Or is now. Or... you know what I mean. Probably to avoid whatever my father would do to her if he could get his hands on her. Or maybe her plan was to come back, but she was stuck here. We won't know until we find her. Just what my mother told me. I've also studied a little bit on my own, but there's not much. When something is trapped in a soul gem, and then the energy is used for powering an enchantment, the remnants are sent here. Well, I think it's specifically the black ones. I don't know if the soul cairn takes just any leftovers. Look at this place. Do you think anything would want to live here? The only things that can survive here are the ideal masters, the undead, and the souls themselves. Well, if you want to call that living. I don't think anyone's ever met the ideal masters. I'm not even sure anyone knows what they look like. They could be underground, flying above us. They might be the ground. Lots of theories. Some say they feed on them like I feed on blood. Others think they use them as payment to an even higher power. Almost like a currency. A very strange currency. Whatever they're doing with them, they've been harvesting for millennia. No telling how many souls are trapped here. Look around you. There are some extremely powerful undead here. Even a necromancer as seasoned as my mother would be willing to spend years trying to gain access to them. Exactly. It's a lost art. Most necromancers just raise up whatever bodies are nearby. A simple trick, really. Child's play. But bringing something from the soul cairn gives you something much more powerful. Well, that's usually the trick. It's possible to do it through a simple portal. But to finalize the deal, you have to travel here yourself. And most of them never come back. I wonder if the horse's remains are around here, someplace.